Hey everybody, welcome back to another Slimefun episode with your host Boomer, and today we are moving forward. Just want to give you a quick update what we did. We've got everything finally crafted after many hours of grinding and pushing and smelting and crafting and a little bit of AFKing in there. We got all the materials to have 3 cobblestone gens. We've got 15 level 1 ore grinders, 8 gold pans at level 1, and 4 dust washers. Eventually we'll upgrade these, and right now it's not as efficient, but it's much more productive than what we had. We have our sulfate factory up there, starting with a furnace going from cobble to stone, composter from stone to netherrack, and ultimately one more grinder to go from netherrack to sulfate, which is being stored here on this very ugly end right there until we can get these all upgraded to fluffy barrels. So for the moment I kept a double chest because you guys know how valuable sulfate is, how long it takes to get. If by some chance I have more than a chest worth, I want to keep it. A couple things we've added now. We've also added the iron ingot factory, or electric ingot factory, excuse me. Iron ingots is one I get. And all the gold pans and dust washers are set to, dust washers are all set to round robin. So if it creates an aluminum dust, it goes to the ingot factory, and then the next one comes into the barrel. And you can see we've got a pretty fair amount of materials building up in a barrel, although copper is finally starting to get some. We've used a lot of gold, a lot of iron. Not much else after that except for stuff for batteries. So zinc, copper, tin for a couple of other things. Those are going. One other thing we didn't talk about that much in the network. When you're talking about moving power, we have these energy connectors, and they're essentially like electric wires you see outside your house. Except it just connects the network. It just allows power to run through it to get to your machines. It's different than a capacitor. A capacitor does the same thing, but it's also like a battery. So imagine if you're generating, let's just say, 1,000 joules a second, and you're using 900. If you use connectors, those extra 100 joules per second that are generated disappears. But if you use capacitors, especially if you can get the really large one, the Carbonado one, or the, I think the Carbonado is the largest one. But anyways, you get the largest one, it holds 65,000 joules. If you're using 1,000 joules a second and the power goes out, that gets your machines running for another minute. And in terms of Minecraft, that's, 1/12 of a day, or 1/12 of your nighttime. So the capacitors can keep your machines running when your power generation stops if you don't have nighttime power. Whereas the connector, as soon as the power machine stops, so does your power. So that's the only downside. So like right now that it's night, I have nothing generating power. Had those been capacitors in there, they would keep the entire network running until all the capacitors were drained out. And at some point we'll do that. But, alas, one of the things we don't have, and I'm sure all of you out there who are Slimefun veterans probably are starting to think what's next, right? Logically, what is next? Well, we are generating a ton of power requirements. You can see I'm over 4K down alone. I have 4 Carbonado solar generators out there. So if you were thinking this, you're heading right track. Why do I not have an energized solar generator? You need one thing there that I don't have, and now you know what it is. And it's blistering ingots. Why don't I have blistering ingots? I don't have a uranium setup. We have 2 options. We can do it manually through a few machines. It takes 6 machines to get there, plus the cobble gens, which you already have. Or we can build an uranium extractor, which is surprisingly not super expensive. I'd give it a scale of 1 to 10, probably about a 5 to a 6. We're probably going to do the manual version because the machines are a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper to build short term, but long term I think that's where we're going to go. But in order to do this and to get the uranium going so I can make blistering ingots, that's the only part of the blistering ingot, by the way, I need to unlock a lot of stuff in the guide. I got to unlock the ore clusters, the pile of uranium, the small chunks of uranium, the pulverized ore, the crushed ore, the blistering ingots, 33, 66, and 100%. I got to make sure I've got full-size Carbonados unlocked. I mean the big ones, I also have one other dilemma. Because to make a blistering ingot, you need 3 things. You need uranium, check, we can make. You need Carbonados, which we can make. That's check, that's 2. Number 3, Nether Star. Yeah. Now, ultimately, there actually are, and a brand new thing, I just noticed this like an hour ago. I have a new thing in my Slimefun guide. I want to just get some daylight here real quick to show this to you. I don't know why I've never seen this before, and I think it just got added as part of an add-on. I have yet to see this. I've never seen mob simulation. To me, this is 100% brand new. I'm going to go back and check previous episodes and see if this was in here. But we have a mob simulation chamber where we can put data cards in. Look at this. We have a wither skeleton data card. I don't know what this is, but I'm assuming there's a spot where we stick this in and it will make wither skeletons for us. That's my guess. It's a mob simulation chamber. That's what I don't understand. Is it actually spawning real mobs? Is it simulating it? What happens? We can even Ender Dragon, right? Who needs to go to the end to get the Ender Dragon killed? We can do it here. Blaze, Iron Golem, Chicken. I don't think you know a whole lot of chicken. Guardians. Hey, if that spawns Guardians and I can get drops, so much for raiding a Guardian farm, right? Make prison marines. Matter of fact, we can do that anyways. Creepers are gunpowder for making our rockets. Enderman, there's our Ender Pearls, although we've got a better option for that. So you can see there's a few of them, and there's this mob data infuser. So there's a lot that we need to learn about this. I'm going to try to find the wiki on this and learn a little bit more. But ultimately, at least right now, here's what I'm looking at is the soul jars. Where did I just go right by them? So I want to set up, where are we here? Wither skeleton, there we go. We can make active wither skeleton spawners in the overworld. We just have to make sure it's dark enough. So to do that, we need to collect the souls of wither skeletons. To do that, you need to kill 128 wither skeletons to make one of these things, in addition to using the ancient altar, which means making runes, which, if you know me, I hate those because they are so labor intensive and time consuming for such a little return. And to my knowledge, there is no way to automate that process. Now, that may have changed. I don't know. We'll look into it some more, but I'm pretty sure there's not. It's just, it is what it is. It's time consuming. It's tedious. But once you get the first spawner, after that, you don't need to go to the nether to kill another 128. We simply make a grinder and boom, we fill up the soul jars really quick. So that's pretty much the option where I'm heading, because getting nether stars, as you guys know, in vanilla Minecraft is a pain. Never mind that you've got to build some type of wither farm in the nether that under vanilla conditions you can get looting 3. Now here we can get looting 10. So you've got roughly, I think it's a 17% chance of dropping a skull. But you got to keep going back. You got to keep going back. Oh, and by the way, in vanilla, you've got to kill the wither. Now, I know you can do it underneath the end portal in the end. You can suffocate him there. We've got better options than Slimefun. We actually have wither assemblers where we can use obsidian, weatherproof obsidian to get them. So I'm going to do some grinding, get some XP going so we can get these items unlocked in the guide. We'll be back in a bit. So how do you like my new outfit? We're getting ready, like we talked about, to hit up some uranium so we can start making things. We need to get blistering ingots going. And one of those 3 that we need is uranium. And so we are decorated out in the latest Minecraft fashion from Amazon.com. Just kidding. We made ourselves a suit. And not just any suit. A hazmat suit. So we can actually handle uranium. So here's how this works. We actually have a lot to go through. We're going to start by grinding our sifted ore into crushed ore. Crushed ore goes in a pulverized ore. From there, we need to flip over to the ore washer, where we're going to turn pulverized ore into a pure ore cluster. Pure ore cluster. There we go. Then we're going to come back to our grinder, and we're going to take those pure ore clusters, turn them into tiny little piles of uranium, which those for the most part are safe. It's once we start getting bigger chunks of uranium where we need to have hazmat suits. So the small chunk, this is where uranium can start to kill us. Now, it used to be you could get away with wearing one piece of a hazmat suit and not have the issue. My understanding is that now that we need all four. Otherwise, you are subject to radiation poisoning. So we get the small chunk, and then we've got our uranium, and that we need to make our blistering ingot. That's one of the three big pieces we need. Now, boosted uranium is simply plutonium and uranium mixed together. I don't know, that's nuclear. I don't know if we're going to play around with that later on down the road or not. Ultimately, what I want to make is the uranium extractor, where I've got a couple machine circuits and a core, no big deal. The automated crafting chamber, which needs a blistering ingot, a dust washer, a gold pan, and 3 ore grinders. So when you look at it, actually, this isn't that expensive to craft. It's not too much to do. All I need to do, if I remember right, is get one blistered ingot to make that automatic crafting chamber. The rest of this will just take a little bit of time. So for now, we've got to do it manually. But look at this. We can go right from cobble to small chunks. Andesite, stone, diorite, and granite. All that useless stone that we mine can go right into uranium. We'll do it with cobble because that's the generator we're doing. So let's kind of go through this here. I brought over 4 sifted ore, hoping that this was going to be enough. So we've got to come over to our ore crusher and start pounding this sucker away. I didn't do the math, like I said, to determine exactly how much I was going to need to hit uranium. So these 4 stacks may be too much. It might not be enough. But I think what we'll do, because we have the hazmat suit, when we need to get uranium, until I can get that uranium extractor built and make sure I have enough power to supply it, we'll probably do this manually. And then once we can permanently power it, then we're going to move towards automating this. I know we're going to have to get one for our energized solar panel to take the 4 carbonatos to run at nighttime. We're getting close to the point, though, where we're going to need more than just an energized panel. We're not too far away from that point, because we're going to have automatic smelteries in the system. We're going to have stuff like this. We're going to have automatic crafting chambers. So I'm leaning towards, we'll make the first energized, and we may add a couple carbonato solar generators, but from there, we may start looking nuclear. I also want to look, there's a lot of other power options that were a part of this that I want to get into. By the way, the other episode, I think it was either 32 or 33, I talked about 2 new Slimefun packs being added. One is called Slimefun Warfare. I have not downloaded it. I haven't looked into it yet. I'm guessing it's got something to do with PvP. And the other one is Liquid. These are the 2 new packs. I'm going to download them and start playing around with them a little bit in a separate world just to see how they go. All right, so now we have our pulverized ore. Now we're going to run this through again. Actually, I should have just left it in there and kept going. Wait a minute. Why is the pulverized ore not going through? Let's go back. Sifted ore in a crush. Oh, because I did it so long, it went right to pulverized. That's why it was taking so long. It turned the crushed into the pulverized. It actually saved me a step. Okay, well that works out good. All right, here's our ore washer. So now this is going to take these and turn them into, I believe it's the pure ore clusters. And then from there, we're going to turn them into tiny, tiny little bits of uranium, which very low radiation level. Probably the equivalent of a dental x-ray is my guess. Or maybe riding in an airplane. Yeah, you didn't know that. You're actually subjected to radiation when you fly in an airplane. Man, and I used to fly a lot, like 40, 50 trips a year. It's a lot of radiation. No wonder I'm fried. So when this is done, we'll take this back over there and see just how much uranium we get. That way we got an idea how much it's going to take to, I'd like to get 6 to 8 uraniums put together. That way we have them when we need them. We should probably build an armor stand for our suit. Look at that, pure ore clusters. All right. Should probably make an armor stand for the suit, so when it's time, we can simply put it on. Okay, so we should be getting tiny little pile of uranium. How nice. Yeah. You know, the other thing I'm kind of looking forward to spending some time in is clay tech. I'm curious how this traveling to other worlds looks. I don't know if it's just, if it's a real actual in the world or if it's to the end or what it is. So I'm kind of looking forward to spending some time in clay tech. We'll probably develop maybe 6 or 7 episodes specifically on clay tech is my guess based on what I'm seeing. There may be more. But there's so much that we still haven't touched yet. So I think after this episode, we're going to talk about, automating nuclear. We need a basic circuit board farm. We need a villager trader. We need a lot of little things. And I'll try to lay out what I want to do the next couple of episodes here. If I remember right, the recipe for uranium is 2x2, right? Oh, nope, 3x3. Okay. Let me in. So 28 of these. So I think I should get 7 uranium when I'm done, if I'm doing the math in my head right. Uh-oh. Oh, I kind of biffed. 28. 20. As long as they're all at 28 or above, that's fine. Because then I think those go to a 4x4 or 2x2. So we got 28 small chunks of uranium. Now, the small chunk says a hazmat suit required. So let's see what happens if I take off the scuba helmet. Let's see if I start to suffer any type of... Yeah. Ooh. There we go. Let's start eating before I die. Hello. So it is true. You do need to have 100% of the hazmat suit on. Or you are going to start... Look at that. Oh, come on. Really? I withered away? I don't remember getting hit by a wither. I guess radiation and withers now are very similar. Oh, boy. All right. Well, first things first. Let's turn it... Oh, there's monsters nearby? Well, then let's go get our stuff. Hello. Ooh. Where's my suit? I want to get the suit on first so this doesn't happen again. There we go. I think I got all of it. Where's the hat and the gear? There we go. Now I can pick up everything. Okay. Well, that was close. Small chunks. I think this is how it's going to go. No, don't tell me it's the other way around. I'm only going to get 3. Wait a minute. That's not going to uranium either. All right, let's look it up. I thought it was either 2x2 or 3x3. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me again. Wow. Okay, it is 2x2. It's just the upper left-hand corner. There we are. Awesome. We've got 7 uranium. So that should be enough to get some basic machines going. We'll be able to make our automated crafting table. We can do the advanced or the energized solar generator. We can start working on a whole bunch of stuff. We are going to have to get some nether stars, though, so we're going to have to go to the nether, plain and simple. I'm just debating whether that is going to be the next thing that we do. Because, we just talked about a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here with our little bit of uranium. And I want to plan out what the next steps are. Actually, I think before we even go to the nether to get wither skulls, to start working on collecting spawners as well, we need to set up the ancient altar because we need to get all the counter ruins just so we can make a soul charm. If I'm going to go in the end and I'm going to start killing withers, I want their souls so I can start getting a spawner set up for the overworld. So we'll have another episode for you guys soon. In the meantime, I appreciate the time you take to watch. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't yet, please consider it. But as always, when you're playing Minecraft, you've got to go boomer or you got to go home. We'll see you later.